good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar about the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, more commonly known as Septa. Welcome. Septa is the way to go back. I'm your host. I'm Skye Ostreicher here on behalf of Schneps Media, the owners of Metro Philly here. Today we'll be discussing the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority and answering your questions as part of our webinar. Schneps Media is a huge family newspaper group that acquired Metro Philly last year, and Metro Philly is the #1 daily newspaper in Philadelphia. And we're thrilled to partner with Septa. Metro Philly is available for free always in all the different Septa stations. You can pick it up as you commute. So it's the perfect combination here, the #1 daily newspaper partnering with the #1 transit provider. So we got the best of the best here on the screen. So thank you, audience, for joining. Thank you to our panelists here. You're going to hear from Leslie Richards and you're going to hear from Scott Sauer from Septa. And audience, live audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat function or the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. Type in your questions. We're going to tackle a whole bunch of issues today, and anything we don't get to, we will go to your questions at the end. So anyway, here we are today, and last year and since 1964, Septa has been Philly's way to go, shuttling the local workforce to their offices, job sites, classrooms, and stores, and back home. Daytime, nighttime, weekdays, and weekends. Septa has always been, safety has always been the #1 priority for Septa, even before COVID. So today we're talking to Leslie Richards, Septa's CEO, and Scott Sauer, Septa's Assistant General Manager of Operations, to hear firsthand what Septa is doing to meet your safety, security, and service needs through the recovery and beyond, including cleaning protocols, mask requirements, new fare options, and schedule changes. So we'll just dive into those topics, but with brief introductions, I'll have these people introduce themselves. So Leslie Richards, let's hear from you first.
Sure. Thanks so much for having us here today. So I'm Leslie Richards. I'm the GM and CEO of Septa. I've been here since January of 2020. It has been one of the most interesting times, I would say, of my career. But we are really happy to be here and navigating through this, what I said, a challenging time, and being part of the business community and making sure that people know we are here, that we are the way to go, and we're here to support them in any way that we can. And we're really excited to let them know, if they haven't been on us recently, what they'll see and all of the good work that we've been doing.
Awesome. Thank you. And Scott Sauer.
Yeah, thank you. Scott Sauer, though. Sauer, like sauerkraut.
Sauer, my apologies.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm Scott Sauer. I'm Septa's Assistant General Manager. I'm in charge of the Operations Division. This month, actually, I'll have 31 years here at Septa. I've worked my way up through the ranks, started my early days as an operator. And today I lead our operations group, which is all the trains, trolleys, buses, subways, and the maintenance folks that go along with those functions. And I'm happy to talk to everyone and tell them all the good things that we've done to make their ride safer, in the COVID era. But and hopefully welcome back everyone in September when everybody's coming back.
Thank you. Yes. And again, we're here with Leslie Richards and Scott Sauer from Septa, and we're going to dive right into it about some of the concerns that come from your riders about the safety and security of getting back on board with a bunch of other passengers. So as the first question, what is Septa doing to make the system safest for riders?
Well, look, we've been very busy, and I'm very proud to say that Septa never stopped running. Every single day, we've been making sure that people get to where they need to be. Let me just mention about the mask requirements. Right now, masks are required on all of our vehicles when you're in our stations on our network, and we're following CDC guidelines. And so our operators, obviously our employees also will be wearing masks. We know that that's the way to keep us all safe. Very proud to report that we are well over 90%, not over 95% of those wearing masks correctly. And we do kindly remind people when, maybe something, maybe it's not fully covering their nose and whatnot. But we're very proud. We have one of the highest compliance rates. And again, we're all looking, our riders, our employees, everyone on our system to keep everyone safe. I'm going to let Scott talk a bit about our air ventilation, which is a very important component to keeping everyone safe from the virus. And again, I'm very proud of all the work that we've done.
Great, thanks, Leslie. And it's important to know that even prior to COVID, our air ventilation systems were working far and away exceeding any recommendations from the CDC. Our air exchanges every 2 to 3 minutes on our vehicles. That's a combination of our ventilation system as well as the natural circulation of a transit vehicle with the opening and closing of the doors at all the stations and bus stops. In order to help some of that on fair weather days, we'll open the roof hatches on the buses. That'll help circulate air through the vehicle as the bus is moving along the route. But it's very important to note that there has been no documented correlation anywhere between the spread of COVID-19 and mass transit. There's never been a noted case of a super spreader event. So mass transit, as it has always been, is the safest way to go.
And that's a little bit about rider health and safety. So let's talk maybe more about security and what Septa is doing to address any concerns about rider security.
Sure. So we've been working on that as well. Again, safety always being at the forefront of everything that we do here. So we have been addressing, safety, security, and our infrastructure needs. I want everyone to know that our engineers, our maintenance, our construction crews are out every day, making sure that all of our structures are safe, making sure that our vehicles are safe, making sure that we have enhanced lighting, making sure that, all of our stairs, have the proper supports. A lot goes into making a station safe. Now, in addition to that, we have cameras installed. We have new signage there. And this is in addition to all the deep cleaning that we're doing on our vehicles every single day and throughout our system. We also have hired extra security guards. We have our own transit police, and they are stationed at several locations throughout the system to make sure that they are there to keep everybody safe and to hear any concerns and address things right away. And we have hired additional security guards to make sure that we have extra uniformed personnel. The security guards are more eyes and ears on our system. And when there's anything that needs to be reported, they're there to help us for that. And that has also been very, very successful for us. In addition to that, we do realize that a lot of people in the area have seen some tough times throughout the pandemic, and we're seeing an increase in our vulnerable population, those experiencing homelessness, drug addiction, mental health challenges. And we want to make sure that we help them in a real compassionate way as well. And so we have expanded our co-responder model, which has our transit police going out with social service experts, addiction specialists, those who have expertise in mental health issues, and so that we can talk and interact with those members of our vulnerable population, making sure they're aware of treatment, where to go to get that treatment that they need, where they know that they can get temporary shelter as well as more permanent shelter. So again, we want to help everybody. We want to help those who are congregating around our system who need the help, and obviously making sure everybody who's on our system, and that includes our employees as well as our customers. So a lot is going on. Scott's team is the one who is truly helping us with what we call our scope initiative, which is part of this co-responder model, but even an expansion on that. So Scott, I'm going to let you go into some more details of what your team has been doing and helping us with this significant challenge.
Sure. And scope, for those who aren't aware, scope stands for safety, cleaning, ownership, partnership, and engagement. And scope is really a bringing together of all the different groups within SEPTA, as well as partnerships with our communities, with our municipalities, to do all the things that Leslie described and engage with folks who are having tough times, who are experiencing addiction, experiencing homelessness, and to get all that information and find help for those folks, as well as secure the system, clean the system, and bring all our internal folks together on a singular mission. Scope includes obviously our operating departments, our transit police, and our system safety personnel. We're all working together in this common program. It's a single point of contact. It's a clearinghouse. We have one of our assistant directors, Ken Divers, who's leading this effort in concert with the city of Philadelphia, with our neighboring, with the counties that neighbor Philadelphia, to make sure that social service organizations are present, that they're giving the help to those that need it, and also ensuring that SEPTA's goals of maintaining a clean system, maintaining a secure system are met.
Yeah, one of the initiatives that we're also working on, which we're really proud of, is we're partnering with Drexel University, and we're working with their medical students to help us perform outreach. And we're very excited about this. This is a first time of this type of partnership between SEPTA and Drexel, and we're really looking forward to enhancing our mobile outreach services and how we can help others. And obviously the medical students in this area are just such a wonderful resource and bring such expertise. SEPTA, we know how to run a transit system, right? We don't know all of these extra medical areas. And so we're really, really happy. And so they're really helping us. And we feel like we're on the cutting edge of risk assessment, of communication strategies, of how to keep everybody safe. And so this local partnership is something that we're very proud of, and people will be seeing as they come out on our system.
It's really wonderful. As the 6th largest public transportation agency in the country, for you to take on that responsibility. I don't think any of your competitors, not necessarily competitors, but other major transit agencies do that throughout the country.
We're definitely unique in how we are partnering with others, of how we are, look, we want to be part of the solution. And we know that people need help, and we want to be here and be as much of assistance as we can be. And so, yeah, I know that we are definitely out there as far as, a national model. And again, using local resources to do this is something that we're very proud of. I'm very proud of SEPTA in general for always being innovative and thinking of new ways to do things and reaching out to others so that we can lend our expertise, we can use other people's expertise, and really be able to do some good work.
Wonderful. And you touched on cleaning. I know you touched on health, you touched on safety, you touched on security, and now cleaning. Let's hear, do you have another innovative way of incorporating all different types of cleaning options? Let's hear about that.
We sure do. I'm going to let Scott kick this one off because he has been involved intimately in our cleaning protocols and doing a great job, might I add.
Yeah, our cleaning program has always been robust, and it's always been a challenge to maintain a clean system when you have hundreds of thousands of people coming through your system every day. And COVID-19 just took that challenge and put it on steroids for us. So we were really working hard to try to enhance our cleaning initiatives, and our employees and our managers have really stepped up. We've always paid attention to our vehicles, but we took what we call our daily, our periodic house cleaning of a vehicle. You might think of your car in sense that you might wash the exterior, give the interior once over every couple of weeks or week or so. But every so often you do a detail of your vehicle. That's what we're doing. When we call a house clean of a bus or a house clean of a train, that's our detail work. And we used to do that once every 15 to 30 days. And we've been able, through changing some of our processes, through introducing new products and new materials, we've been able to reduce that time frame to every 10 days. So every 10 days, our vehicles are going in for a full detail cleaning. every day they get wiped down, they get swept out, they get mopped. But every 10 days we're bringing in and going top to bottom through that bus, and that's been a big improvement that we've made to all of our vehicles. We've always used the EPA approved products that are proven to combat COVID-19 and other viral particulates, but we've always been using that. We continue to use those things. We've stepped up cleaning in our stations all along the Market Frankfurt and Broad Street lines. We do maintenance blitzes. Every weekend throughout the summer, we've been closing our stations a little early and getting out there and doing a full station wash down. We've introduced new crews to do entrances and stairwells on a daily basis. So we really spent a lot of time, and a lot of this has been part of assessments that our employees have made in how to speed things up and how to be more efficient in the way that they operate. So those closures are happening. Elevators, we pay a lot of attention to elevators, making sure that they're cleaned and monitored on a frequent basis. But we're giving our crews a lot of extra time to try and get out and do that.
Yeah, we're always challenging ourselves to be better, and how we can do things better, how we can be more efficient. And so, I asked Scott and his team, what is it that we can do to even, further our cleaning? I said, could we have more people, right? If we had more people doing it, we could do it possibly faster and more often. And so we have committed in this budget that we just passed, that our board voted on and that unanimously, to add 200 positions. So we are hiring here. We plan to add 200 cleaners over the next year. And we're very excited about that. So that's going to allow us to be more visible as well, and get more done and get it done quicker.
Wow, a lot of new things and innovative ideas. Leslie Richards, the CEO and general manager of Septa, you came in January, right before the pandemic, and now really handling things. And Scott Sauer, you've been there, you said 31 years, and there's a lot of changes of making these things really safe and secure and healthy for all the riders. So audience, if you have any questions for these two people from Septa, please feel free to type it in, and we'll get to your questions towards the end of this Schneps Media webinar for Metro Philly. Let's talk about service. And there have been some questions actually that are very specific to specific stations, so we won't get too specific, but in general, let's talk about service, maybe how service has been and how it is now. And do you expect it to increase now as the world begins to reopen, hopefully?
Thank you for the double-handed finger cross on that. We'll take all of the good positive support we can get. Currently, we're running our summer services, which is what we would have done before the pandemic. We always have summer service while students aren't here, while people are on summer vacations, while many businesses lighten up some of the work. And so that's what we're running right now. Just to remind everybody, all of our schedules are on septa.org, so they can look up and see all the schedules that we're running. Our service on transit is currently running at 90% of where we were before COVID hit. And so just to remind people also that right now our subways, which are a big part of our system, obviously, the Market Frankfurt line is running right now every 6 minutes. The Broad Street line is running every 8 minutes, and that's from 6:30 in the morning until 6:30 at night. And then it rides a little less frequency after that. And just to remind everybody, we still have 19 high frequency bus routes, and they continue every 15 minutes or less, again, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. So just to let people know, we're out there, and we're out there frequently to get them, and we are the way to go. Scott, I know you have more information as well as some regional rail.
Sure, regional rail. Unfortunately, regional rail ridership still hovers around 27%. We're optimistic that that's going to grow over time. Currently, we're running our regional rail service at about 53% of what people were used to prior to COVID-19. On September 5th, we're going to change those schedules. So that'll increase some of that, the amount of service, but we're offering about 1 hour frequencies on most routes, except for Paoli, Thorndale, and Airport, which are still operating at about 30 minutes, 30-minute frequencies. But as I mentioned, in September, we'll increase that service from what it is today. As I said, about 53%. We should be seeing it around 65%. Most of the routes will see increased levels of service, including the return of some express service on the lines that used to have express service. We'll see some of that express service come back. We'll see weekday service get bumped up. We'll see some weekend service get bumped up. So a lot of that is going to happen, and we're optimistic that by increasing the frequency of the regional rail service, we'll start to welcome back some more customers and get some folks back to riding the lines that we unfortunately have had this precipitous drop. But we also anticipate our transit schedules will be a little more robust in the fall, as well as school returns, and hopefully some of ridership returns there as well. So expect on August 29th, transit schedules will change. On September 5th, regional rail schedules will change, and you're going to see a lot more service than what you're seeing today.
And where's the most up-to-date information on all these schedule changes? Would that be on your website?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Leslie.
No, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, so our website has the current schedules. And then within the next few days or about a week or so, you'll start to see the new schedule proposals come out in anticipation of that change at the end of the month.
Okay, so for anyone with any questions about that, we just talked about the service schedule changes, the summer schedule, and now a new schedule will be coming out. And what about ridership, Leslie and Scott? How has ridership been?
Sure. So I'm pleased to say that it is increasing, right? It's increasing definitely from where we were last year. I would say before the pandemic, we were having about 1 million trips a day, and now we're about 400,000, which is really a big improvement from where we were before. I would say roughly on our transit, we're around 45% of where we were pre-COVID. And, that happens to be equivalent to the number of jobs here in the greater Philadelphia region, just to put that into perspective for people of who's riding our system. I do want to add, I see some of the questions in the chat here, just to remind people that capacity related vehicle restrictions have been removed. So we no longer are enforcing social distancing. There had been some decals on our seats. They are being removed. As you can imagine, we were very much in a rush to get the decals down. And now we are slowly and methodically removing them. So you can sit anywhere. We do ask that you be respectful. Obviously, try to space yourself out as much as possible. And but that can't be done on all of our routes, especially some of our busier routes. And that's what every transit agency throughout the country is doing. And if you do see crowding, let us know. And we'll see if there's anything that we can do about it, either in adjusting frequencies or our schedule.
Okay, so no social distancing, but you must wear a mask. Mm-hmm. And schedule changes and ridership is increasing. Okay, everyone, and continue to put your questions in the chat for Leslie Richards and Scott Sauer about Septa, and all your questions will be answered. So question now about Septa. I've seen messaging that says Septa Key is the seamless way to pay. And what does that mean for Septa customers?
Sure. So Septa Key was part of Septa before I got here in January 2020, but a really welcome addition. So pleased that we were working on it, because when it became very necessary to have a contactless payment system, when we were all worried about surfaces that we were touching, Septa was ready to go. So we have our travel wallet, which is available in all nodes, which means you can load up your Septa key card with amounts of money, and then you can use it and reload it in a convenient way as well. You pay as you go, which is something that we heard a lot of our customers wanted, and that's available now, again, on all of our modes. It's on our buses, our trolleys, our subway elevated, our high-speed line, and our regional rail. And so just to remind people, we also added several different options. During the pandemic, our board unanimously voted to change our fare structure. And so there's a free transfer now, and I want to make sure that people can use our system more efficiently. Just to give you an example, you can now go from Center City to the Norristown Transportation Center via the Market Frankfurt line and the Norristown High Speed line, get to where you need to go, and that's just $2. And so again, it is not only the seamless way to go, but a very affordable way to go. Children 12 and under ride our system free with a fare paying adult. And that makes things a lot easier, especially now that activities for children and schools that had been in hybrid mode and now moving back to in-person, just making things easier for everyone. And I also want to let people know that at all Septa lots, it is free parking. And we are going to extend that definitely through September and October. And so that you can park at any of our regional rail stations and in any of our lots for free. We want to make it easy for you. We've also looked at seeing where we can make changes. And so also want to remind people that those who like to use a bicycle as part of your way in, if you want to bike to our vehicles as well, that we've relaxed our policy and that you can now have a bicycle on trains throughout the day, which you weren't able to do before. So we're looking to make it as easy, as seamless, and as affordable for everybody. And that's part of our Way to Go campaign. I know, Scott, you probably have a few more things to add.
Sure. Regional Rail is now fully on Septa Key. So your trip tickets and all that should be on your Septa Key card, as well as cash fares and all that can come through your Septa Key card. When using Septa Key, you have to start and end your trip. So at every station, there will be key card validators. Make sure you tap before the train arrives if you're waiting for at the station, or as you enter our Center City stations. Make sure you tap on, and then when you get off, as you exit whichever station, make sure you tap out. All right, that's the only way we can effectively deduct what you need to have deducted from your key card for a trip. Our Septa app is really your one-stop shop to know what all our schedules look like. It gives you access to not only schedules, but real-time information on our vehicles, where they are, and you can manage your Septa Key account through our Septa app as well, through a selection over there. We're going to continue to look at that. We're looking at Septa Key. We're looking at the app. We're going to try and make improvements as we go. But one big improvement that we've made that you can find on our website is our estimated seat availability for our bus network. So you can go on our Septa website, and historically you can look back and see when our busiest trips are on the buses. So you can see whether or not they had seats available, whether or not it was some seats available, or whether it was standing room. So you can judge the way you want to travel. If you want to try to avoid the peak of the peak, then you can take a look and see how your bus is performing. But I would urge everyone to download the Septa app. You'll get notified when our schedules change. It'll automatically update the app for you, so your schedules can all get uploaded onto the app. We'll even push messages out there to let you know if there's service changes or disruptions. So it's a very cool features of the app that I would encourage everyone to participate.
And Scott, if someone doesn't have a smartphone, how could they participate?
So we still use, if you can get on our website, all of our detour information, service disruption information is still available on our website. That gets updated in real time, just like the app does. And then for those who are the diehards who just love a paper hand schedule, we still have paper hand schedules as well.
And also just want to remind everybody, there are expiration dates on the Septa Key card. So just check if you haven't used it in a while. And as Scott mentioned, very easy to get on and register your card, as well as update or add money to it. And just to remind everybody, that's at septakey.org. Again, septakey.org.
Perfect. Now, a few questions. One is there an email listserv for sign up that announces any of these updates? I know you mentioned you can get it in the app, but is there somewhere people could sign up to get emails?
The Septa app is the best way to get notified. So we will push that information out via the app. or you can check our website, and we'll also upload that to the website. And every time we update our schedules, it's something that we'll distribute to the media. It's something that we'll make very public. We'll make sure everybody knows when schedules change.
Okay, beautiful. We covered a lot of different things about SEPTA during this conversation, and I'm wondering, Leslie, if you have anything else you'd like to add or closing thoughts.
Just to let everybody know, we've been very busy. While some of you have been able to work from home and possibly haven't needed to be on our system, I want to let you know, just because we've been dealing with a once in a generation global pandemic, it has also been a time for SEPTA to be very innovative, to think of our future. I just wanted to let people know we have a strategic plan that we're very proud of, and where we want to be in the future and how we want to work with everybody. So just if anyone wants to check that out, that's called SEPTA Forward. It's on our website. We've also been advancing a wayfinding project. So while you're on our system, if you see people taking notes and asking questions, and we're trying to make sure that our system is as easy to use for those of us who grew up in the Philadelphia region, as well as those who are visiting, possibly visiting the area, visiting relatives, or passing through on business. And we also have begun our bus revolution, which is taking a look at how people are using our system now and making sure that our bus system and our bus corridors, with that free transfer, everybody is using the system as efficiently as possible. And a lot of our bus routes that were designed with how people worked, 10, 15, 20 years ago, they may not be the best way for people to get around now. We know that a lot has changed, and let's be honest, the world has changed in the last 18 months of where people are working and how they need to get around and how they use our system. They use it for everyday errands as well. And we want to make sure, again, that we're the system and their system of choice. So we're keeping our region running. Again, we're happy to do that. We want to remind everybody that we are literally the way to go, and make sure that people visit us at septa.org as well as iseptaphilly.com. Those are the two ways that they can find our schedules, their trip planning, guide to riding safely on SEPTA, as well as our latest travel surveys. I also just want to remind everybody while we're together, the number for our customer service department, if they have any questions, and you can call them, and they can be reached at 215-580-7800. I always say we can't address issues or concerns that we don't know about. So please, this is a two-way conversation. Let us know how we can better serve you, and then we would love to be able to respond.
So the different websites and phone numbers that Leslie and Scott mentioned, this webinar is recorded and everything will be posted on the bottom of the video. And we will also reach out to everyone with this information, so everyone will have the correct phone numbers and emails and websites and apps and all the best ways to get in touch with SEPTA. So I'd like to take any questions that anyone has. I know there's a few in the chat and the Q&A, and then Leslie or Scott, if anything pops into your heads as we work towards the conclusion that you'd like to add, of course, we can add any of those thoughts. There were a few very specific questions as I mentioned, so I'm going to bypass the extremely specific questions as we look for more overarching questions that may answer a few people at once. A question: is the quiet car on regional rail still in place?
So at this time, we have not been implementing the quiet car because there's so few riders in the system. They were pretty spaced out. So as of today, no, there is no quiet car. We'll have to revisit that in the fall as we see how ridership grows.
Okay. I know there are a few questions in here about security. I know we touched on that a little bit earlier in the webinar, but if there are any key points that either of you would like to reiterate about safety and security of the stations.
Well, there was a couple questions I thought I might want to address. Folks asked about the entrances to Jefferson Station, Suburban Station. We are reevaluating the times and availability of certain entrances. Our Market Street entrance to Jefferson Station reopened just a couple weeks ago. That's open from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. We also reopened on a limited basis our 16th Street entrance to Suburban Station. So we are reopening those entrances at certain times of the day, and so there should be signs posted. We've also put that information on the website as to what entrances are open and when. But the Jefferson entrances at 10th and Filbert are always open, and the Suburban Station entrances at 15th Street and 18th Street are also open.
I know we talked about masks and they have to be worn on SEPTA, but do you anticipate the mask mandate? When will that no longer be required? Do you have any thoughts on or?
Look, it's changing every day, just like how, we get more information about what's the best way to keep everybody safe, including ourselves and those others that we care about or who we are in the company of. I can tell you that the last national conversation I had with my colleagues across the country, the CDC orders currently expire on September 13th. And that is the mandatory mask requirement on airplanes and in airports, as well as on transit. And so obviously that date will either, the expiration will come up and then possibly big changes after September 13th, or that may be postponed, right, and extended depending on, the latest information as we see what's happening with the Delta variant. So, stay tuned, but right now it's anticipated to go to at least September 13th. And of course, as soon as we hear from CDC as well as the TSA and what their federal guidelines, that's the guidelines that we'll be following.
Okay. Any other questions here from our live audience that we'd like to touch on?
Somebody asked about regional rail parking availability. Parking is still at no charge through the end of October. So you may park as you wish at regional rail stations. Let's see what else. Passengers that don't wear masks, that's always a big topic of conversation. Obviously we would prefer everyone come enter our system with a mask. Where we can, we will offer a mask. If a passenger is observed not wearing a mask or not wearing it properly, they will be politely asked to don their masks. And we would hope that everybody would comply. We realize that maybe some won't. In that case, we have other intervention methods, but we ask that our crews ask politely, and then if they have trouble, they'll always summon for assistance, typically a supervisor or something like that to assist. But in most cases, people are more than willing to comply. In the oddball cases that they don't, then we will generally handle it as delicately and appropriately as we can.
Okay, well, we've certainly learned a lot from Leslie Richards and Scott Sauer today from SEPTA, the way to go back. And if that's it with our questions, then we can conclude. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Leslie Richards and Scott Sauer from SEPTA, for being part of this Schneps Media's webinar for the Metro Philly area on SEPTA, the way to go back. And thanks for joining on behalf of myself, Sky Ostrager, Schneps Media. Thank you to our live audience, and thank you to our panelists. Thank you, SEPTA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a safe one.
You too.
Bye.